Hi there, and welcome back to our Simple Abundance year. This is our journey together through Sarah Von Bronick's book, Simple Abundance. Talking this year all about her principles: joy, harmony, beauty, order, simplicity, and gratitude. And we're in the section of the book, August 2020. It's officially August 16th today, where we've been talking about our personal gifts and potentially coming up with an artistic endeavor, or even just using your life as an artistic palette, like an artist palette. So I hope you've been giving some thought to some of these things. Today, Sarah explores a few topics through her entry, You Can't Be Original, You Can Be Authentic. It's reminding me, I think it was early March, where we had the entry about being a first-rate version of yourself. That was a quote from Judy Garland about something to the effect of be a first-rate version of yourself, not a second-rate version of someone else, right? And Sarah talks about not getting bogged down with comparison in this one, which is really important. We did talk about when you might not want to share your idea with other people in your life because you would get all these statements of like, oh, so many people have tried that, or you're too old, or you don't have the money to do that, or you'll never make money doing that, so some of those things can be external, but usually internal. We have our own critic, the inner critic, and also we have this thing about competing with other people. So if you think about writing a book or something and then you find out that other people are writing something about the same topic, well, it doesn't matter, because if you're authentic, then you really should have a different version, even if it's about the same exact topic. But if you bring your authenticity to the table with it, then it would be one of a kind. Well, she says you can't be original. I guess she's meaning more like in the idea of it. Like everybody's probably tried so many things. So that may not be a brand new idea, but you can bring your own authenticity to it and make it a brand new thing. I'll read a few things from Sarah. Oh, I wanted to read this quote too at the beginning. It's from Susie Kassem. She's an American poet and philosopher. It says, whatever your passion is, keep doing it. Don't waste time chasing after success or competing or comparing yourself to others. Every flower blooms at a different pace. Excel at doing what your passion is and only focus on perfecting it. Eventually, people will see what you are great at doing. And if you're truly great, success will come chasing after you. What do you guys think about that? Do you believe that if you follow your bliss, like we talked about, that means that you will automatically be provided for and successful? Kind of struggle with that idea myself. I shared with you guys back in early July that one of the things I struggle about in getting older is that I feel like the older I get, the more evidence I have to the fact that I've tried a lot of things and they didn't work out. So it makes it harder to try again. But I mean, living is all about having new experiences and maybe trying the same thing even in all different ways. I've been thinking so much about yesterday's entry with the ignorance. Ignorance is bliss. So much about that. I think I was thinking about it in other terms too, as far as relationships go. Like, imagine if on your wedding day, you, like a fortune teller or somebody, knew the future and said, oh, you guys are going to be divorced in 5 years or something like that. That would be horrible. You'd be, actually, they should make a movie about that, because I think people would have different reactions though. Some people would be even more determined to make sure that it would work out somehow, and then other people would just call off the wedding and try to find somebody else, or other people would go through with it and just maybe accept that it had a short-term life to it. I'm sure it would affect the rest of the relationship, to know that. So there's so many things that it's good to have ignorance about, I guess. And I was thinking of a movie, I didn't look it up, and I may be remembering the actor wrong. I feel like it had Justin Timberlake in it. But it was a futuristic movie where they had these things implanted in them. They were born with them, I think, or they got them when they were born. But it had a counter on it, and it knew the moment that they were going to die. So you could be like looking at someone else and know they only had, 30 days to go. And I forget the plot. It was actually really interesting because I think he was trying to figure out a way to, like, he had a shorter lifespan and he was trying to figure out a way to switch it with someone else. Anyway, that's beside the point. But it's good that we don't know how we're going to die and when that's going to happen either. Because if we found that out, it would be the same sort of thing like on the wedding day that I was thinking about, because you'd probably have all different reactions. Like, say you get a death sentence, then you might end up living every day like it was your last day on earth and just, celebrating every moment. Or you could be in total despair about the regret and like how short your life is going to be cut, and so just live those last, remaining hours or days or whatever it is in misery. Or you could just, like the last scenario, just kind of like keep going and try to act like you didn't know. That's making me think of another movie, The Time Traveler's Wife. That's a good movie if you haven't seen it, because in the end, since he travels to and from future, past, and all that, he happened to know that he traveled beyond his life. So he was trying to figure out when he was going to die. And then he ended up finding out the exact moment. But anyway, I don't want to spoil it. It's a great movie. It's really good. And anyway, lots to think about with the ignorance. I just don't think that we'd want to know some things, like I said yesterday. Back to today's topic. Wow, I got way off track with that. But Sarah says, one of the reasons many of us have trouble getting our work, and that's in capital letters, out into the world is that unconsciously we're competing instead of creating, which is always a short circuit for the flow of inspiration. Yeah. Yeah. And she goes on to say, why do we make ourselves sick competing against strangers? And she says, I believe it's just another sophisticated, sedacious form of self-sabotage. If we don't measure up, why even try? The fault line of comparison runs so deep in the lives of many of us, it's heartbreaking. That would be a bummer if you didn't do what you really wanted to do because you were too worried about, I'll never be Oprah, or I'll never be in the Olympics, or something like that. Like having too high standards for what you want to do instead of just doing it for the joy of it. Not knowing the outcome. We don't know the outcome. It could be amazing. It could be terrible. We hope it's not terrible, but I don't know. Sarah goes on to say, sometimes you're ahead of your time. Mozart was known to qualify his geniuses by declaring his composing for future generations. I never knew that. Did you know that? There are literally millions of aspiring and working artists writing books, publishing poems, selling scripts, directing movies, auditioning for roles, designing clothes, entertaining juried craft exhibitions, creating startups, looking for an agent, praying for a lucky break. Don't panic. It's impossible for you to be an original, but you can be authentic. What do you guys think is the real difference of being an original versus being authentic? I guess, don't they call it the OG? That's like a new term now for being the original. So the OG. I mean, there's only going to be one OG of Carolyn, and same with your situation. But I guess she's talking about in terms of a creative project. There may be the original book. There may be the original movie. I don't know. There's a lot of things that are totally like brand new inventions. I shouldn't even say reinventions. There's a lot of things that really are the original. So I don't know where she says you can never be the original. I think in some cases you can, but I get what she's saying. If you want to do something that a lot of people have already done, you won't be the OG, but you can be the authentic version of that. That's all we can be, right? Be the first-rate version of yourself. Once you accept an artistic assignment from the great creator, it's yours, Sarah closes with saying. Nobody can take it away from you unless, of course, you relinquish it. Right. We did talk about that, how you might get an idea and then it just kind of like flows off into the ethers, and then 10 years later somebody else is rich because they created Netflix, right? Your work is born of your sensibilities, temperament, experience, emotion, passion, perseverance, attention to detail, idiosyncrasies, and eccentricities. When you're authentic, so is your art. Remember I told you about when, I think I told you I had a painting party one year for my birthday, and everybody was painting the same thing, and it was a butterfly, and we were following the artist's instructions and everything. Every single person's picture looked different. There were a couple that were pretty close to how the artists looked, but the rest of us all had different pictures. They were either like really bad, or they were totally, like in my case, I just got so frustrated with trying to follow the rules that I just was like, I'm painting a butterfly and I'm doing it my own way. So mine was like totally different colors. It ended up being slightly different shape. It looked like a 5-year-old painted it, but I had fun doing it. And so you could kind of, it was kind of a personality experience or experiment of seeing how everybody reacted to taking instruction and whether their comparison, because I was looking and going like, oh, theirs is so good. And it's almost like I just decided to throw in the towel and do my own thing because I didn't want to be like everybody else, and I just knew it wasn't going to be as good. So that's a lot like this, but I still had fun and I still created art. And I don't think I saved it. I mean, it was just like an experience in the moment. So it was fun. But I think I get what Sarah's saying about letting criticism or comparison stop you from even taking the first step. So I hope you won't let that happen in your life. Let me know what you guys think about this. It's another talk about being authentic, and that's what this channel is about. And I can see so much of you guys shining through in the comments, so please leave me a comment. I love reading them, and I try to respond to every single one. So I will look forward to hearing from you in the comments. Still looking for some sort of cool 10,000 view idea for celebrating. I did have one idea. Maybe I'll keep it to myself in case it ends up being the one, but I'd love some suggestions if you can think of any kind of a cool way. Even if it's only 10, it doesn't have to be 10,000, but something to mark the 10,000 views on the channel. Thanks for being one of them, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.